Welcome. Women in the workplace. The good, the bad, the ugly. Right, so in general, I think women are all right in the workplace. They've always been in the workplace, right? They've been in the medical industry, nurses. They've been into the caring industry for children, and no problems at all. And so, yeah, they've always been in the workplace. It's now, but they've been pushed into these businesses where they really don't excel in, and never were interested in before, and for a good reason, because they don't like them. They're not that interested in them, right? If they were interested in them, they would have been in them before. But they're being pushed into these businesses and everything because, women are whatever now, right? So they get into these businesses, and usually what happens is that there's trouble, right? There always seems to be trouble, right? If a woman's given any power whatsoever, she will always use that power for her own gains, right? I mean, men do that too, but not to the extent that women do. Women will change the company to make it more advantageous for her, and also for the females in that company. When what she should be doing is look at the company as a whole, and what would be more profitable for the company as a whole, for everybody in the company, because that's what the company's there for, is to make a profit, and that's what she should be looking at, and women don't tend to look that way at the companies, right? Which is a shame. But anyway, but women have been great. If you go back many years ago in the war, the men were at fighting in the trenches and dying, and women stepped up to the plate to run the factories because there was no men, and they stepped up to the plate and did very well there. And of course, they were different type of women in those days, not the women sport little brats that we see now, right? But insurance companies have put the premiums of companies skyrocketed way up, because women are classed as a risk in a company now. Because all a woman has to do is say anything, and all of a sudden there's litigation, people are suspended, productivity's gone down, in fact it's stopped pretty well, and it's costing the company money, right? Which is not good for the company. But the woman doesn't care, because all she cares about is herself, not the company, right? So anyway, I've got quite a lot of women in my immediate family, and it's a rather large family, and some of them actually are in charge of large offices, and they have a lot of women working for them, obviously. And they tell me stories of the women in the offices, what they do, what goes on, and I'm amazed, right? She says, there's a lot of bickering going on, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of not getting on, a lot of downtime on productivity. Sometimes they don't come in because they say they've got a heavy period and they've got a headache or something, and they don't come in for a couple of days. This goes on all the time, she says, and it's hard to keep things moving with them and get the productivity that she's supposed to get at the end of the month, right? And I said, well, there's men working at this company, and I said, well, what about the men in the office? And she said, well, they're pretty well get on with their work, she said. They come in, they get on with their work, they're not much of a hassle, and then they just go home. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a man to me, right? That sounds like a man. So there you have it, right? So women, look, we let you into these places, and you're screwing it up. What are you doing? You are a risk in the workplace now, a risk, and you shouldn't be in these high-powered business places, because you really don't want to be there. Trust me, do you? I don't think you do, right? I mean, let's face it. If you go way back in time, men are the ones that had to dicker or whatever. I mean, they'd say, "I got 4 furs here, and you got loads of meat there, so we had to make a deal, a good deal for both of us, or whatever." Women didn't have to do that, but men did. And men are very, very astute on the old business sense, right? Because they're logical, and businesses run, and profitable businesses run on logic, right? They have to. That's the way businesses make money, right? So, anyway, so what do you people out there think? Women in high business areas? Really? Women in power and anywhere? Is it a good thing or not?